Okay, we're here at Grosvenor Casino with the head man, Mr. Steve Wraith, ahead of Rising Stars this Saturday at Gateshead Leisure Centre, where Jeff Saunders is going to be making his debut. Steve, tell me about it.
Exciting times. I think you know after the last interview I gave that it was touch and go whether Jeff would be able to fight on the show. But glad to say that the Macklins have managed to get the paperwork done. The boxing board had given him permission, the local area council gave him permission, and we're ready to go. So it's exciting times. We just need to get the opponent clarified, which matchroom we're sorting out today. But it's a big occasion. We managed to we've managed to pluck one of the rising stars from the amateur game, and I'm sure that he'll give a great account of himself on Saturday night.
So when did you actually get the confirmation that Jeff was going to be fighting?
Well, the most important thing is getting the clarification from the Northern Area Council, because the next board meeting isn't until the 10th of February, which is unfortunately after the show, So the issue we had was that really, but John Jarrett has been fantastic. He wants to see the lad make his debut.
Yeah.
Didn't want to step in the way of him being on this show, and he emailed us to say that it was no problem as long as the medicals were all through and the sites test was fine, and that's what it's all been about. And the Macklins are very experienced at doing that as our matchroom, and it got rubber stamped last week. So it's just a case of then trying to get tickets to him and getting people the opportunity to know. We've given plenty hints via Peep magazine and the media, but it's just that opportunity.
Getting the confirmation, isn't it?
Just that being able to say, look, here he is on the poster, it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Difficult selling tickets to people if there's you're unsure whether he's going to be on, but I'm glad to see that he's on, and Tracy Saunders is fantastic at what she does as far as getting the news out there and getting the tickets out there.
Well, it's very much a family team, isn't it? Obviously, Jeff Senior with the training side and the whole. Tracy keeps out of that, but she does so much behind the scenes, and she's
a great character. I mean, I think for a promoter, I think I said this when Bradley had his pro debut. His pro debut, but his North East debut on the Leisure Centre show. For us. Tracy was fantastic.
That License to Thrill, wasn't it?
Yeah, she. The James Bond theme. She had that. She had just an enthusiasm. It's the first time I'd worked with her, and she tells it how it is. She turned round and said, this is the way I do things. How do you do things? And we've found a working way. I mean, that's the way I am, and work well with good teamwork. And I felt very much part of Team Saunders then, and still feel very much part of Team Saunders now. And you're right, it's a good family unit. You've got you've got the great work ethic behind the scenes as well as the two lads in the ring.
So there's going to be obviously a lot more pressure on Jeff with it being his pro debut, it being a local show. He's going to have people there, and that sometimes gets professional boxers to try too hard to look good and instead of doing what they do. But again, obviously not just the focus on Jeff Saunders, you've also got obviously some other guys, rising stars coming through there as well. Don't want to pick anybody out, but who stands out for you in terms of the fights on the undercard as it is?
Yep, for me, I was out with Andrew Buchanan the other night. We went down to Stockton to see Eshan Pickering, who fantastic career he had, and what a great speaker he is. But just speaking to Andrew, there's been a 12-month sabbatical between me and Andrew, being able to put him on for various reasons, and just how excited he is to be teaming up with Fighting Chance and looking forward to the show. So I am looking forward to seeing him. He is one of my favourite fighters in the North East, and I'm just looking forward to seeing him getting back in the ring on a Relentless Promotions event. Paul O'Hagan, of course, the well-rehearsed story now about following me into the pro game from the white collar game. First pro fight back in the ring for over 12 months now, and it's a big occasion for him.
He's also a fighting chance now as well, which obviously gives him a fighting chance.
Exactly, and it's good for us. It's a good working relationship we've got with Fighting Chance. So getting him on the bill was a no-brainer, as long as he was fit and he got his medicals and that in time, which he has. And then obviously the two T-side lads, Abdon Caesar. I met him on Saturday night at the same event.
I've heard good things about him. You look at his record, lost his first 4 fights, but it's obviously fighting away from home, and he's beaten 2 unbeaten guys, and Andy Whittle, the guy who does the fight past notes and things like that, he's seen his last 2 fights and he was raving about him.
Everybody's raving about him, and he's a very special talent. And I think what will surprise people is just the size of the lad. You know, he's actually quite a big lad, and you wouldn't want to get in the ring at him at his weight level. It's a promising fighter that I know Paul O'Malley, the trainer, is very excited about. And you know, I had a good chat with Paul on Saturday. He was at the same event, and we talked about, you know, how we could help him, you know, and getting Abdon fights in the northeast. And I think this could be the start of a good relationship. You know, he's obviously crossing this country after, you know, absconding after the Olympics, and he's set up home down there. But there's potential of another one of those Olympians teaming up with Paul O'Malley down there as well. So from our perspective, that could be a good working relationship to keep in with and keep on. But then obviously the other 2 fighters, Steve Cooper, you know, I've said before, he had an encouraging debut on Dennis Hobson's show prior to Christmas, and we're pleased to have him on the show.
And he was quite a late addition for that one, so he wouldn't have had a great deal of time to get ready for that either.
No, and I think he proved that, you know, he's capable of holding his own. I think
from boxed within himself, I think
100%. I think he's another good Teesside talent coming through on this show, and he is a rising star. You know, it's only his 2nd pro fight, but this will almost feel like a home fight to him because he's back in front of the same crowd at the same venue. And then last but not least, Bazzi Razak, Mark Lozel's fighter. 3 wins, 3 knockouts. You know, very impressive start. I think everybody's aware that Kevin McCauley comes and comes with a good track record.
Yeah, and he knows how to survive.
He knows how to survive, and he's a good fighter. You know, he's a good journeyman. He's somebody who will come up here and give Bazzi a real test.
He's like Warburton, isn't he? Whereas if you give him slight opening, he'll go for it and he'll seize it. So you've got to be very careful on your game with him.
I've heard people say that Bazzi hasn't been hit, and Kevin will hit him. You know, there's no doubt about that, and it's how Bazzi responds to that. You know, and I'm sure Mark's been working on that in the gym, along with Joe. And I think that Bazzi, you know, is definitely, you know, somebody who, you know, you can look at this year will be looking to progress. I think Mark's looking at, you know, trying to get him out 4 or 5 times this year, and I think that you know, Bazzi will come with some good support as usual. You know, and you know, he comes with a great start to his pro career. I think he'll continue. I think he'll do well on Saturday night, but you know, it will be a tougher test, and that's what you need when you want to move up the ladder.
And obviously with Jeff there as the icing on the cake, as he described it earlier. So this is your first Fight Pass show. So for the Fight Pass fans, what have they got to expect from the show as a whole?
It's just going to be a little bit showbiz, you know. I mean, as I said before, you know, we had a little bit of a dress rehearsal, which I was part of on the production side with Maiden Tyne and Weir. You know, it was, you know, camera crews ringside, and for a small hall show, that is something quite unique. And I think we talked about it. You know, there'll be the odd celeb at ringside, and you know,
I'll be there.
You'll be there. You know, you'll be there. Cliff will be there. But you know what I mean. You've got, you know, you probably have the likes of Bradley who will be there, obviously to support Jeff. And that gives you a little bit of showbiz, and obviously with us encouraging youngsters to come, you know, 200 people from the amateur boxing clubs are going to be there on Saturday night. Someone will be there for their first ever pro show, you know, and they are going to enjoy that atmosphere. So I think it'll have a very family orientated feel to it, but I think there'll be that touch of showbiz from Matchroom, and as I said, you know, it's a professional feel about it. You know, Matchroom know what they're doing, and this might be a Fight Pass show, it might not be Sky, but this is, you know, it's based on the same work ethics.
Kind of under the same umbrella, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's the same work ethics. You're dealing with the same people, you know. And as I said before, you know, Eddie's very contactable. You know, I was down in London yesterday. I could have gone to the press conference that he held, but you know, we spoke on the phone briefly, and he's there. He's there, willing to talk to us about different aspects of this show. And when you think about the ins and outs that he's having to deal with at the moment, you know, with Carl Froch and, you know, James De Gale, etc. And you know, you think his mind would be on other things and he wouldn't have time to talk to a small hold promoter. That isn't the case. You know, Eddie makes time for everybody, and for me that just gives me, you know, the utmost confidence to go on and carry on doing what I'm doing, you know, to the best of my ability.
Obviously 3 days before the fight, are there any tickets still available? Will there be tickets on the door? Always, what's the situation?
Always tickets on the door. You know, the tickets will be £30 on the door for anybody who wants to come along. You know, the doors are going to open at 5. The bars are open from 5, and you know, the weigh-in will be 6. So you know, the weigh-in, obviously, you know, there's always 1 or 2 fight fans like to come along. Yeah. You know, we don't like to turn them away. You know, there'll be plenty of space there. If there's a couple of fight fans want to come and see their favourite fight to get weighed in. Then the first fight we're aiming for 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock start, hoping for a 10 o'clock finish, and then back to Grosvenor Casino for a few drinks afterwards. So it's you know, it's exciting, looking forward to it, and you know, there has been a bit of stress, but you know, there's always stress when you're putting these shows on, and just looking forward to catching up with a few people I haven't seen for a while as well.
Well, I look forward to the show on Saturday, Steve. I'll be there, and I look forward to the party as well.
Thanks to Peep Magazine for the support as well.
Gates of the Leisure Centre, Saturday, 5 p.m. doors open. Get yourself along there. 30 quid. Go on.
Cheers.